I'm a queer poet. Or to be complicated, a poet who is queer. Now this used to be an important distinction, but times have changed. And the answer to this, and indeed to any political poetic conundrum, has always been to forget theory and just write it. Just write it. And if one gets to the essence, to the linguistic and emotional centre of what one needs to say, it will apply to queers, Hindus, atheists, bisexuals, straights, straight cross-dressers, and don't forget asexuals, who don't have anything to do with sex, who have time to appreciate everything. A queer poet. Well, thanks to Ellen DeGeneres and others from Plato and Gilgamesh to Boyd George and Whitman and Auden, being queer is easier to declare. The word easier to say. Poet is a more difficult word. For once the poet has defined what he or she is talking about, poetry entails absolute outing, absolute exposure. Definitions are dependent on the age of the definer and the age the definer lives in. When I was a kid in my adolescence, I was particularly searching for definitions of passion, of adventure, as well as the definition of simpler words like soldier. That's the name of the next poem. Soldier. Abergavenny is my hometown. In Welsh, Aber translates as mouth. Gavenny is the name of a river. Therefore, Abergavenny signifies mouth of the Gavenny River. But then again, the Gavenny isn't a river, it's a driblet. Starting in the Black Mountains, dribbling through the cricket field, past the asylum, at the bus station, before traversing the river fields to mould into the River Usk, it becomes a brook. This River Usk is large enough to be a real river. Cattle, horses, sheep, drink and nibble, other creatures indistinguishable. Blackbirds were blackberries when viewed from a far position. When as a teenager I bathed in the river, water squelched like mercury, the sun a white knot. Wikipedia informs that Abergavenny's history is intermittent scandals. In 1230 there was a massacre in the Norman castle. But nowhere is there mention of the scandal in the 1940s, when the town council male were discovered to enjoy dressing up as women at council meetings in the town hall. A percentage of the council transformed into the feminine principle. The rest stayed as they were. These goings-on were photographed by the owner of the opposite cafe from his balcony. He telephoned the national press. All over Britain, this was before Britain was the United Kingdom, images circulated of the balding Abergavenny council, bejewelled, bewigged, flaunting floral dresses with stitched-on lace, reflecting the confusion of town dressmakers. Confusion did abound. My grandmother was adamant. Never reveal you come from Abergavenny. They'll believe you're a goddamn Nancy. Alexa, you know what of your goddamn what's it? Oh, I can't loved thinking about it. When she was drunk, she'd hit her own head to admonish enjoyment, vivid enough to be happening now. In my 18th summer, I have a job at the clothiers on the High Street, and on a day off go to Barry Island, the seaside town. I have worked out the implications of my grandmother's warning, so entering a fish and chip shop with money in my pocket and prepared, when a soldier, carrying his cod and chips order, and having a choice of 40 vacant chairs around 10 isolated tables in the available shop, asks, "Mind if I sit down?" Before sitting, he clips off his belt, like the rest of his uniform, satisfyingly military. And the clunk of the buckle on the tiles of the table bounces onto the fish and chip cooker's cool steel, reflects in imitation glass panels resembling mirrors around the top halves of the walls. "Where do you come from?" I whisper, "Abergavenny." And the table's edge is the edge of my precipice. And the vinegar will moisten momentous events. And the salt is a plunge into political meanderings, giving birth to the taste. Ask, and I'll tell.